So I interrupted my fast this morning at 60 hours, y'all. I had a bunch of friends come to town and I spent some time hanging out with them. And I had breakfast this morning. As you know, we've been in a 72-hour fast. And last night we talked about interrupting the fast this morning. And I'm here to share with you what happened. What do you think happened? And the question that we want to ask is, can you remain in ketosis even after you break the fast? Hey, this is Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health, your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted. And in this year, new you. That's right. We are working on putting our diabetes in remission. That's reversing diabetes, getting off of diabetes medications. We're talking to adults with type 2 diabetes, and we are helping to improve all of those things that are associated with diabetes: obesity, polycystic ovarian syndrome, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, metabolic syndrome, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and the list goes on and on and on. And I welcome you to our show tonight. So you know how we do it. We are here. We're going to share my blood sugars, share my ketones, and I want to talk a little bit about how I'm feeling as I continued, actually, into the rest of the day as we went into getting up to 72 hours. I see some folks out there. I see Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer, how are you? Welcome. She said, howdy, y'all. Let me actually get over there and pull that up. She says, howdy y'all. She says, nice shirt. Yeah, Jennifer, this is, let me go to this view. Maybe you could see a little better. So this is our original Dwayne Wood MD shirt. This is the very first shirt that we wore for Dwayne Wood MD. So I thought I'd get a little nostalgic tonight and pull that up. Awesome. And then, of course, we see my man Hicks. James Hicks is on watching us over there on Instagram. Excuse me. So thank you for stopping by and hanging out with us. So let's hop over, y'all. Let's see. Let me go over here. I want to pull up. As you know, we do it here on the show. I've got my monitors that we're going to show here in just a minute, so you can see what my blood sugars are doing. I've got my Libre and my Dexcom that we're going to see. And then, of course, we have our graphs. And I want you to particularly see the graphs today because those are going to have a better view, if you will, of what my blood sugars were doing today as I got out of fasting. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. So one of the benefits of fasting is that the body switches from burning carbohydrates, burning glycogen, to burning ketones, right? As it breaks down fat, ketones are released, and that it uses for energy. As we discussed in previous shows, there are parts of the body that actually prefer ketones. For instance, the brain prefers ketones. And so as I've been doing, we talk a little bit about what's going on with me physically, mentally, and then emotionally. So physically, once again, I mean, this has just been a continuation of what's been happening in terms of the fasting. Starting out with the fast, this fasting period, I did a very good job, I think, of getting into fasting. Remember, there are 3 phases of fasting. There's the preparation for fasting. There is the fasting itself, whatever the number of hours. And then there is the breaking of the fast. So in my preparation for the fast, I did a pretty good job this week of getting rest, of making sure that I didn't go from a semi-fast, if you will, into a full fast. I was well rested. I didn't have any, well, I was going to say I didn't have I didn't have any stressful events, but there were a lot of things that brought anxiety. That was unavoidable this month or this week. But like I said, did a pretty good job of getting into the fast. So I think my preparation was very good. During the fast, my mental clarity, as I described, was pretty good. as you get into the fast, as you get into these places where you're burning ketones, the brain actually likes that. And so there's a clarity that comes that a lot of people will describe as they get further and further into the fast, because the brain is burning those ketones and using those ketones for energy. And then emotionally, so emotionally this week was actually the challenging part. In other weeks, emotionally, it was probably a lot of social cues. People eating around me, people who had, when my team was going to lunch, when my family at home was eating. This week, there was an additional anxiety, stress, if you will. And that was because we're having homecoming this weekend, and so a lot of people are coming to town, and we've got to clean and cook and those things that are associated with entertaining, and then we've got a function tomorrow night. My wife is a part of an organization, so we're going to be doing that. And so anyway, so all those things culminated this week. And one of the things that I mentioned last night is what I could have done in terms of adjusting the fasting was I could have moved my fasting up a day. So instead of doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I could have done Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that would have avoided some of the things that happened. So this morning, for instance, I knew friends were coming into town, and so I called them up at the beginning of this week and said, "Hey, let's get together for lunch, for breakfast." And it actually, to be honest, didn't dawn on me. It didn't occur to me that I was fasting at the time. And so when I made the arrangements, I was like, okay. And so now the arrangements are made, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's right, I'm fasting. It turns out, by the way, that one of my friends that came was actually fasting today. So this morning, he actually didn't eat breakfast, right? But I had breakfast, and we'll talk a little bit about what happened there, and you'll see some of the things that we did. Okay, so that's physically, mentally, and emotionally. So there were some pushes for me to eat. And remember, when we talk about our heat model, the habits, the emotions, the access, and the taste, those are the things that can interrupt our process, and not just with fasting, right? Fasting is a great place to apply it, but in a lot of things that we do in our lives, the things that push us to break the plan, interrupt the plan, not be successful with the plan, are the things that you're seeing in the heat model. Habits, the habits that we've created, the habits that we have, they will, if they're not the correct habits, whether it's eating or our organization or our staying up late, whatever it is, habits that we have will push us in a direction that can interrupt the plan that those goals that we've created. Emotions, and you know this, emotions will override most anything. Emotions can override pain. Emotions can override determination. Emotions can override your decision right now to do something that's beneficial. And if we don't have good grasp on the emotions, then they can derail us. And then access, right? Access to certain things. If, for instance, food, if there's access to food, then the likelihood is that if we don't control those first two things, habits and emotions, then because the food is there, we're gonna go do it. And this is the same thing for people who struggle with alcohol, people who struggle with drugs, people who struggle with smoking. It is the same thing that we can apply across the board. And then, of course, taste, right? Because if there's something on the table and it doesn't taste good, you don't like the taste, you haven't cultivated a taste for it, then you're not going to eat it. So that's just the long and short of it, right? So these are the things, these four parts of the heat model are the things that push us in that direction. All right. So my emotions this week, yes, they were pushing me in that direction. Now, I'm happy that, my wife and, helped me through some of it. And we're one day closer to having people over and getting through the function. And we're going to have a good time, right? We're going to have a good time with all the folks that come in. All right. So let's take a look now at my monitors and let's see where we are. Well, let me back up and let me tell a part of the story. So let's see. This morning I got together with some friends and we went to this place here, and it is Another Broken Egg. That's the restaurant that we went to for breakfast. And so I had to decide what I was going to have for breakfast. And so let's scroll down and see they got a lot of good things there. I know if you're hungry right now, I'm sorry for scrolling this. If you're fasting, I'm sorry. And by the way, as you're out there, please go ahead and put in the chat where you are in terms of your fasting. Are you fasting today? Have you broken a fast? Are you getting ready for a fast? How many hours have you done in terms of your fasting? Excuse me. How many hours have you done so far? I've been doing a 72-hour fast. Today I did a 60-hour fast by interrupting. I know several of our community members have done 24-hour fast and 36-hour fast. I think there are a couple of people actually that have done a 72-hour fast with me. So if you're out there, go ahead and put that in where you are. Okay, so I went to Another Broken Egg, and lots of good things there. And I actually was looking through, and I decided to have this Southwest Scrambler. Okay, and I'll show you what I did to it here in a minute. So let's back up and let's take a look at our numbers. And you guys know how we do. So here is my Dexcom. So my Dexcom is saying that right now my blood sugar is a 75. If we go over to my Libre says my blood sugar is 64. Right, and you'll see there at the bottom for most of today, well, all of today according to this, my blood sugars have actually been below 70. Now let's take a look. Let's hop over and let's take a look at what my monitors are going to say that my blood sugars are. And actually, I need to do something here real quick. Just a second, guys. I need to get some assistance because I think I left something. Hold on a minute. Yeah, calling my family. Yeah, and you guys may hear my son is out there. He's practicing the piano right now. So my wife is going to go grab, because right now I have my monitors, but I actually don't have a Lancet. So I need a Lancet. Hold on a second. All right. So while she's doing that, let's go ahead and let's go back to, yeah, let's do this. Let's go back. Let's take a look over here. All right. So remember the question that we're asking is, can we stay in ketosis after breaking a fast? Right. After breaking a fast. Remember the process of ketosis. How does that happen? When the glucose in the body is low, then the body switches from burning sugar to burning fat. And in the process of burning fat, then we end up with ketones. And we end up with ketones, and then the body switches to burning ketones. It's kind of like having a hybrid car, as I've often kind of talked about. Your body is able to burn both types of fuel, whether it's gas or it's electricity from the battery, and your body's able to do that. Okay? All right. So let's take a look here. And let's hop over and we're going to take a look at what my blood sugars are. Thank you to the Mrs. Dr. Wood for helping me out and bringing my Lancets. And I see Teresa just hopping on. Hey, Teresa. She says, hey, Dr. Wood and everyone. Thanks. Glad that you're here. And then I see Jay Jackson. She said, I'm preparing for a 36-hour water fast next week, then breaking it with a 5-day juice feast. Oh, wow. So Jay Jackson, we're going to have to talk about that. That is, so you're going to do a 36-hour water fast, and then you're going to break the fast, but then go directly into a 5-day juice feast fast. Wow. Okay. I like that. Jay Jackson, I would love to hear and actually the community would love to hear how that goes. And I would be interested in knowing, are you able to monitor things like blood sugar and ketones, because that would be a great way to share with our group what happens to you, particularly in your body, and how you're feeling, and the things that does for you. Yeah, yeah. Sounds more positive than juice fast. I love it. I love it. All right. So, oh yeah. So Jennifer's saying hello, and then Jake Jackson says sounds more positive than juice fast. Oh, okay. I love it. All right. All right. So let's hop over and let's take a look at our monitor. So you see right on the screen that my Libre says my blood sugar is 64, and let's go ahead and let's get a test strip out and get it into my contour. We'll get a test strip out, get that into the Keto Mojo meter. Move these things over, and we'll get a Lancet and get a drop of blood. Get that over here, and we'll see here in just a minute, a couple of seconds, what the Keto Mojo says my blood sugar is. And then, of course, I got to get a little bit more blood on this one. There we go. All right, so Keto Mojo says 75. And then let's see what Contour says. So Contour says 66. So 75, 66, and then of course you saw that my Libre says it's 64, and then my Dexcom says 75. Okay, so 75, Keto Mojo and Libre are saying the same thing, and then Keto Mojo and Dexcom. And then the Libre and the Contour are pretty close to each other. All right, so let's go ahead and let's take this strip out and let's get our ketones in. So what do you think my ketones are going to be? Okay, so let me go ahead. I'm going to get this running, but I'm going to switch over because I want you guys to guess what do you think it's going to be. I'm going to switch over here. Okay, so remember what happened. Okay, remember what happened this morning. So I broke the fast at 60 hours. Let's see, all right, here we are. Hold on a second, guys. Yeah, I was getting so excited over watching this. All right, so let's hop over. I'm going to take a look at, let's see, what should we look at first? Let's go over here and let's take a look at my monitors, right? I want to see what the graphs look like. Before I show you what the ketones are, hold on a second. Let's hop over here. And then let's take a look at the monitor, or the graph. So right now, this is my Libre. And as you see there, the Libre says I'm in target 72% of the time. And the reason it's 72% of the time is that part of the time the Libre is saying that my blood sugars are low. So let's go ahead and let's see. Let me get. Okay, there we are. So 72% of the time I'm in target, but 28% of the time I'm low, and low is considered 54 to 69, and then 1% of the time I'm actually very low, which is considered less than 54, right? It's according to keto, according to Libre. My glucose management indicator, which is this number over here, is a surrogate for the A1C, should be about 5.4 if these numbers continue to hold true. Now, so anyway, so that's what that is. So let's scroll down and let's take a look at what has been going on with my blood sugars. Let's see. So right here, right? So let's see. This is 21st. What is today's date? All right, here we are. So Thursday, right? So Thursday at noon, right about here, my blood sugars started going low, and it actually stayed low for the remainder of Thursday night. And then I broke the fast coming right here about 6 or 7 o'clock. Right, so that would be about 60 hours. And then for the rest of the day, y'all, look at that. According to this, for that middle part of the day, right there, right after eating, my blood sugars went above 70, and then they dropped again, and then remained below 70 for the rest of the day up until now. And of course, this is according to the Libre, right? So according to the Libre, even though I ate, I had a little spike in the blood sugar, but most of the time my blood sugar was below 70. So let's talk now a little bit about what I ate, right? Let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about what I ate. So as I mentioned, we went to another broken egg, and I had the Southwest Scrambler, and this is what the Southwest Scrambler normally looks like. Well, this is what I had, okay? Another broken egg. I had Southwest Scrambler, and I had a cup of green tea. And the Southwest Scrambler usually has, of course, scrambled eggs filled with chorizo, onions, tomatoes, green chilies, topped with cheddar jack cheese, guacamole on the side, salsa on the side, and flour tortillas. Instead of an English muffin, right? You can have either of those. So what I did was I had the same thing, but I changed the chorizo to chicken sausage. And then down at the bottom, you'll see that I got rid of the flour tortilla, and I had them add spinach to what I ate. And so this is what I ended up having. Now, I had all of the salsa as well, and I had all of the guacamole that came with it. I didn't eat the butter, and I drank probably a third of the tea. So that was what I had this morning. And so the question that I have for you is, after eating that, breaking the fast at 60 hours, and remember what our question is: can I stay in ketosis even after breaking the fast? Okay, so what do you think my ketones are going to be? Anybody out there? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's take a look. Now I'm going to have to because my monitor went off. All right, so I'm going to have to turn it on and sync my app, so the app pulls it in. So you see there is syncing. And let me get rid of this strip because that's why it says error. Okay. And so you'll see there on the screen. All right, let's make sure that that's the right one. Syncing. Turn it back on. Okay, so it says everything is done. And you'll see there glucose of 75 and ketones of 4.1. You guys see that? So even though I broke my fast this morning, and here's the graph. All right, so even though I broke my fast this morning, my ketones are still high, right? And that's at 820, which is now. And my glucose is 75. Okay? So is it possible? The answer is yes. It is possible to break your fast and still remain in ketosis. Remember, as we talked about back when we initially started talking about fasting, one of the things that I continue to say is that breaking the fast, the ending of the fast, is just as important as going through the fast. Because sometimes what happens is as we get to the end of the fast and we're breaking that fast, sometimes we undo the things that we did while we were fasting. So we get to the end of the fast, we're breaking the fast, and we start eating high carb, highly refined foods, and that starts a spike in our blood sugar. The spiking blood sugar brings insulin up, insulin comes out, ketones go away, and then we're back into our normal eating. So one of the things that people say is as you're breaking the fast, you want to eat things that have calories, but things that don't have a lot of carbs. And that goes back to my decision today for what I ate. Now, you'll see there that the eggs, of course, no carbs. The chicken, no carbs. The cheese has some carbs in it. The spinach has some carbs in it. Of course, the guacamole has carbs, and the salsa has carbs, but not a lot of carbs, right? What would be interesting is to go over to another broken egg and really kind of see what their carb content is on this dish. But because I added the spinach to it, it's probably going to be different than they normally would have said. Okay, so the things that we eat coming out of the fast are just as important as the things that we eat in the fast, or we don't eat in the fast. So when we talk about the ketogenic diet, and we'll come back and do a full show about ketosis, and getting into the ketogenic diet and so forth. But the ultimate ketogenic diet, y'all, is fasting. Right? Because remember, the goal of the ketogenic diet is not to take carbs in, so the body switches over to ketones. And if you are fasting, by nature of how fasting works, you're going to be in ketosis. So what better way to enter into a ketogenic diet than to begin with ketosis? Or how about being in ketosis and then going into a fasting period? Right? So just amazing the ability of those two things to work together, right? So what I want to do is I want to talk just briefly about general guidelines for a ketogenic diet. We'll come back and we'll do a full show, like I said, to do that. But let's go ahead and let's take a look at some things that we want to do, right? So number one, right? You want to make sure that you're having low carb vegetables. For instance, spinach. In my case, I added spinach to the recipe that was there. So spinach doesn't have a whole lot of carbs. There are carbs in spinach, right? Because remember, anything that's growing out of the ground has carbs in it, right? And so you want to do low carb vegetables, and that's a big thing in terms of the ketosis. Number two, you want to use quality fats. Guacamole, right? So it has quality fats. Of course, cheese has fat in it, but we're going to stay on the guacamole here for a minute. Next, you want to have adequate protein. As you're going through the ketogenic, you want to have adequate protein, because that's what's going to maintain a sense of fullness. You won't have cravings if you're doing that, right? So adequate protein. You want to limit the sugars and the carbs. You limit sugars and starches. And so in my plan today, in what I ate, I didn't have a whole lot of refined sugars and no starches. My tea was unsweetened. The meal that I had, probably some sugar in the salsa, but generally speaking, not a whole lot. And then we want to hydrate, and we want to make sure we look at our electrolytes. Okay, so let's go through those a little bit more in detail as we talk about, okay, what do we need to do to stay in ketosis? So number one, low carb vegetables, right? So you want to incorporate a variety of non-starchy vegetables into your diet. These can be, high in fiber. Because they're high in fiber. Let me say that, because they're high in fiber, lots of vitamins, lots of minerals. and they're low in carbohydrates. Examples of that would be leafy greens. So I added spinach. There's broccoli, there's cauliflower, there's zucchini, there's bell peppers. All of those can be incorporated because they're non-starchy. Some of the starchy things, of course, are what? Yeah. Right. So carrots would be starchy. Of course, potatoes. People consider it a vegetable, but I guess it is. But so those types of things would be high in starch. Quality fats, right? You want to focus on high quality fats. And once again, this is in preparing and staying in a ketogenic diet, right? Avocado, olive oil, coconut oil, MCT oil, all of those things are quality, and these can help maintain satiety. In other words, it helps you maintain the feeling of fullness without spikes or carbohydrate intake, right? So they won't spike your blood sugar. They kind of help you stay full so that you're not always having those cravings. You want to have adequate protein, right? You want to have a moderate amount of protein from good sources, right? So eggs, which is what I had, poultry, right, which is what I had in what I ate this morning. Okay, poultry meat. The goal is to maintain muscle mass without overcoming or consuming a lot of protein, right? You want to make sure that you are doing that. Let's see what else. Adequate protein, right? So limit sugars and starches, right? So avoid sugars, grains, starches. A lot of people will eat cereals, right? Those are high in starch. You want to avoid pasta, rice, potatoes, and this is once again keeping with the ketogenic diet. These foods are high in carbs, and they will quickly take you out of ketosis. Remember, once sugars come into the body, once the body's blood sugar elevates, then insulin has to come out to compensate. And once insulin comes out, then ketones begin going down. You want to make sure that you're staying hydrated and maintaining electrolyte balance. Pay attention to your body. If you're feeling lightheaded, feeling dehydrated, or feeling woozy, dizzy, make sure that you're drinking enough fluids, and maybe you consider doing some supplements. Right, sodium, potassium, magnesium. We did a show, let's see, one of our check-ins last week, I believe, talks about some of the vitamins and supplements that you should take or you should consider taking during the process of fasting. And then, of course, in terms of being able to sustain, you want to incorporate mindful eating, right, in the process of staying in a ketogenic diet. Because if you're not careful, if you end up having things that are highly refined, you're going to start having spikes in blood sugars. And those spikes in blood sugars bring out insulin, and the insulin is going to make you hungry. It's going to drive those cravings. And the cravings are part of the whole process that push us to break the fast and to eat things that we probably don't want to eat. All right. So let's see. So Jay Jackson Jennifer said, I broke my 72-hour fast this afternoon, had celery with spinach dip plus sweet potato chips. These weren't the right thing to eat. Quick evacuation. Yeah. Yep. So one of the things that happens in the process of if we're not careful as we come out of a fast, if we put too much in or the wrong things, then yes, we will have evacuation, diarrhea. So the reason for that is that when you're fasting, particularly for extended fasting, the cells in your body, in your GI tract, that are normally responsible for making lubrication, that's the mucus that comes out to help with the food digestion, they actually kind of, some of that gets sloughed off because the body is regenerating and they don't have to do that work during the process of fasting. Well, if you put a lot of food in, then those cells, they've got to wake up and they've got to start moving quickly. And in the process of doing that, they overproduce, and sometimes that will lead to, as Jennifer says, quick evacuation. Right? Jennifer says, yummy, looks great. Yeah, it was delicious, y'all. It was delicious. At 60 hours eating that, oh yeah, I enjoyed it. Jay Jackson says, corn is high carb. Yes, Jay Jackson, corn is high carb. Very good. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So let's see. So we've looked at the blood sugars. We looked to see where I was. And so notice, even though I broke the fast at 60 hours, right, which was an amazing feat. Oh, and let me go back. So Jennifer, we got to give you a hand clap and a congratulations for 72 hours. 72 hours. Y'all, you remember, as we've been saying, our goal is to fast for a 24-hour period once a week. But some of the benefits, some of the additional benefits come with the more extended fast. Some of you right now are struggling with some significant diseases, some significant comorbidities. And the only way a way to get ahead of that quickly is with some of the extended fast. Now, that's not to say that intermittent fasting, time-restricted fasting, shorter fasts do not help. They are amazing in their ability to set us up for success and to reverse some of the disease processes that we have. But some of you are right now struggling with significant diseases, and having an extended fast is going to get you there much faster and begin reversing the process much quicker. Okay? All right. So let's see. So Jennifer says, yes. Looks awesome. All right. So over on our Instagram, let's see if we have it. So we've got, hey, Michael. Michael says, happy Sabbath, Doc. I did intermittent fasting, lost 21 pounds in 6 weeks. Man, let me go ahead. Boom. Hey. Man, that's nothing to sneeze at. That is, I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us. And let's see. Okay. Yeah. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and put those in the chat comments. We all love to hear and know where you are in your process right now. So as we continue into wherever you find yourselves, remember, any strides that you're making are in the process of moving you in the correct direction. And I say this for you who may be joining us for the first time, those of you who may be even in the community right now who have not been able to get to a 24-hour or 36 or 48. Maybe you're at 8 hours. Maybe you're at 10 hours. Maybe you're at 6 hours. Whatever number of hours you're at right now, don't see that as a failure, right? Because progress is what we're looking for, not perfection. We are moving in the direction of reversing our diabetes, putting our diabetes in remission, getting off of diabetes medication, helping to, and let me go ahead and put that graphic up so you guys can see that, helping to reverse a lot of the disease processes that we struggle with, right, other than diabetes. So as we're moving in this direction, the things that you're doing, the strides you're making, it's not just fixing diabetes. It's fixing polycystic ovarian syndrome, metabolic syndrome, obesity, hypertension, hyperlipidemia, fatty liver. All of those things begin getting better. Do you know that there are certain cancers that respond well to ketosis, to ketones? And what an amazing way to get to ketosis, but fasting. Okay. So yeah, if you're out there, don't think that you are failing. I tell the story, and I'm going to tell it again. I had someone contact me, this is several weeks ago now, who said that they were failing because they didn't get to a 72-hour fast. I said, well, how many hours have you done? And they said 66, y'all, 66 hours. That is not a failure, right? That is my goodness, that is amazing. So wherever you find yourself, if you are even now just finding this, you're watching this on the replay, say it's December 29th, December 30th of the year, and you're like, man, they've been doing this since January 1, and you think, oh, I've got a whole year to catch up. Start catching up. Start where you are. And I say that to everyone who's out there listening to us right now, that you can begin where you are. Remember the platform and the premise on which all the things we do here on the channel work. It is the triple E formula for success. That is, we educate. The shows that we do, the website, the podcast, the blogs, the community meetups that we do, all of that is with the intention of educating and providing data. You cannot change anything without knowing and understanding and getting enough information. Number two, the second E is our empowerment. The empowerment comes from the tools that we provide. The fasting is an amazing tool. We learned about emotional intelligence. We learned about the 5 whys, figuring out why you want to do this. We learned about the medications we should get off of, medications we should probably talk to our doctor about starting. We talked about a conversation we should have with our doctor about how to adjust medication. We talked about the heat model, right? And we'll come to that here in just a minute. So all of these are tools that we're using in order to get us in the direction and get us to our destination, which is reversing diabetes and improving our health. And then finally, encouragement. Encouragement comes from the community. As you come to the community, as you are here, the community gets better. The community is stronger because you are here and because you share your information. Okay? Remember also our heat model, the things that push us, the things that interrupt us, the things that can drive us off course, the habits that we formed. The habits that we form, those patterns that just happen just because it is a rut, it is a routine that we're in. Number two, the emotions. If we are not in understanding of our emotions, then those emotions can drive us in a direction that we don't want to go. I tell the story of the lady that I saw recently who was saying that she was having these urges for a particular sweet. And as we talked, we found out that the reason that she liked those sweets wasn't that just that she liked them. It was the reminder of what was going on when she was 7 or 8, when her mom allowed her to go to the store for the first time by herself. So she got those sweets. And that's what the memory was that drove her to the sweets. So it wasn't that she liked them. I mean, she liked them, how they taste, but it was the feeling, right, that we are craving. And a lot of you right now are struggling, and you think there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. There is something that is driving that, and understanding that helps us break that habit, right? And those are the emotions. Access, sometimes simply having things around, yeah, that will make us eat. And we talked a couple of shows ago about how do we clean up our environment? How do we create a place of access that doesn't derail us? And then, of course, taste, right? Taste this is an amazing one, because if there's something that's sitting on the table that didn't taste good, guess what? You would not eat it and you would not do it. It is the taste. We've developed a taste for certain things, right? And this goes for not just for food, but we're talking here about food, but it goes for a lot of things in our lives. All right. And then, y'all, our call to action. Our call to action is this. You should join our challenges. Yep, I'm going to pause. If you're going to be successful, the things that we're learning can't be things that you just listen to and put on the shelf. Now, I'm going to say this. You have tried things before, and you're like, man, this is not going to work just like the other stuff didn't work. What if it does? Don't give up on yourself. Just because you've tried things in the past that didn't work, don't let that deter you from being here and listening to the videos and going into the challenges and doing and working along with us as this is an entire year. The theme for this year is New Year, New You. That's it. Everything that we do on the channel for this year is going to be with that theme. And you can pick us up. You can find us at any point. You can join us at any point. Join the challenges. Don't put it on the shelf. Number 2, for our call to action, get involved, right? Show up, share your story, be in the chat, be in the community, because the community is as strong as you are. When you share your successes, that encourages other people. When you share your struggles, other people know that they're not by themselves. There's nothing like feeling that you are alone in a task that you're trying to do. Building this community is going to be the way that we help each other. and you can be a part of that. And then finally, invite a friend. Invite a friend, invite a cousin, an auntie, a brother, a sister, your mama and them, right? Invite them to the show. Let them know what we're doing. Send a link to them. Say, hey, I know that as a family we struggle. Some of you have things that run in your family, and generation after generation after generation, those things are affecting you. And this is time where you can break that habit. You can break that shackle. You can be the voice. You can be the person that helps to get your family out of the situation they're in terms of their health. So go ahead and let people know what's going on here on the show. Let them know what's going on the channel, and you come on back and hang out with us. Yes, 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 yes. Love it, love it, love it. Let's see. Steve, hey, what's Steve? Steve says 30-day average 105 since I've started fasting. Steve, man, here we go. Love that, Steve. I'm going to actually get another sound for people who are having these milestones and getting to these amazing results. That's what we want to know. Just like Steve just shared, that lets you know that there are people who are involved in the process. This is not just, us talking, right? As I show my numbers, let me back up for a second. Let me say this to everybody who's watching right now, okay? Full transparency. You are my community. You are my encouragement, right? There are times, right, when those things, right, this heat model, when these things are affecting me just as much as they affect you. And one of the reasons that I am able to get through some of the triggers is because I know that my community is with me, that you guys are out there, that you guys are watching, that you guys are sharing, that you guys are listening. That's the power, y'all, of community. And so, as I say, what they say, what's the commercial the guy used to say, he's just not the president, he's a member. What commercial was that? I forgot. Anyway, whatever commercial it was. Okay. So yeah, so Steve, thank you for sharing that. Let's see. A single mission said, I just really joined. I have watched a few times. I did a 22-hour fast and a 19-hour fast this week. What is good to eat to break the fast if you are plant-based? Well, first of all, let's give you hand clap, give you some music, because that is amazing. Yes, that is wonderful. And thank you for sharing that. I'm proud of you. We are all proud of you, of where you are and what you've come. And the fact that you just joined, that's okay, right? We take all comers. We take you wherever you are and whenever you get here. Okay. So in terms of what to eat, as a plant-based, when you are breaking the fast, as we just talked about, you want to eat things that are low carb, not anything that's highly starched. So a lot of green leafy vegetables would be great in terms of breaking the fast. You can do, I use bone broth. I use chicken broth when I'm breaking my fast. You can do vegetable broth. Okay. I think, what is the one? And of course, as soon as I said that, it went out of my head. I saw it today at the store. Not Swanson. Well, or is it? Anyway, or you can make your own chicken, not chicken, but vegetable broth. And so that would be a way of breaking the fast initially, right? Because we want to put calories in, but sometimes we want to go ahead and prolong the ketosis, as we just talked about. And then as you're getting into the fasting, a lot of things, and I'm going to say this, a lot of people don't like when I talk about tofu, but tofu is an amazing thing to do, right? You can do that. A lot of the vegetables that you have, right? Broccoli and cauliflower and beans would be a great thing. I sometimes, as a matter of fact, my first 2 or 3 sessions that we did here, when I broke my fast, I broke my fast by eating beans. Okay. So there are a lot of things there. I'm going to there's so many things that I want to do and we will do for the community. One of the things that I want to do is actually put together a list of foods to eat as we break the fast. But anyway, that's just a general initial amount or food that you can eat in terms of breaking the fast. I don't know if you use any of the vegetarian, vegan meats, but those Beyond Burgers. Those are things that you can use if you do use those, because those are, even though they are carbs, they don't spike the blood sugars as high. Okay, awesome. All right. Jennifer says, congratulations, Steve. Yay. Steve says, fingers up. And Teresa, let's see. Let me go back up here. Teresa says, she said, oh, yeah, we are with you. 100%. Thank you, Teresa. Awesome single mission. Yep. And single mission said, thank you. Right. I appreciate that information. And I love tofu. Oh, yes. I love it. We got some tofu right now that my wife cooked. And let's see. Over on Instagram, we've got some folks who have joined. And Bangus Maine says, started following you. Thank you for following us. Thank you for being out there. Faith Mitchell, Bangus. Yes. I got some hand claps and some fire. Yeah, thank you all. Awesome. All right. And then the single saying thank you. Okay, awesome. So this is it, y'all. So it is possible to interrupt the fast. Back to our question, and let me pull that graphic up. Is it possible to interrupt the fast and stay in ketosis? And the answer is yes, that you can. Depends on how you break the fast, what you're eating as you're breaking the fast. And really, breaking the fast or interrupting the fast is just like we talk about in terms of when we break the fast, that we are doing things that won't reverse or put us back into the position we were in before. Okay? All right. So, hey, guys, thank you. And gals, thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to spend some time with you. As always, I am proud of you all and glad that you are part of this community. This is Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, we educate, we empower, and we encourage you to take charge of your health, your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level, creating the life you've always wanted. And in this year, y'all, new year, new you. We will see you at our next show on Monday at 7 o'clock Central. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your family. Enjoy all the functions that come with the weekend as you celebrate. Good night.